welcome back, class 11. Today I am not taking the online interactive class. Instead of that, here is a video of the chapter which I said plant growth and development. So plant growth and development, in this chapter we have to study about plant growth and development. Okay. So in this chapter we will study what is growth. Growth is irreversible increase in the mass of an object. Like growth is seen in the living plants as well as animals. It is due to addition of new cells which are added by the cell division. So growth in organism, that is growth in plants, can be due to increase in the length of roots, increase in the length of height of the plant, or increase in the length of shoot or the branches. So growth is of different types. Now next we will study about plant growth is indeterminate. What is the meaning of indeterminate? Means till the lifespan of a plant, means till the plants complete their lifespan, the time between birth to death of an organism is called lifespan. So plants keep on growing throughout their life till they are alive. They do not grow only up to a certain period of time, as it happens in animals. Like we human beings also have a definite growth period. Growth means our height will increase only up to certain years of age, during the growth period only. We cannot increase our height after the growth years, that is after 20 years. Hardly any growth or increase in height will be noticed. But in case of plants, it's not like that. Plants will keep on growing throughout their lifetime. Their root system will keep on growing, developing more and more branches, developing more and more branches of the roots, as well as the new shoots and the leaves will keep on forming and the old leaves will fall. Now next, growth is measurable. Can we measure the growth of plants? Yes, it is possible with the help of an instrument which is called oxynometer. What we can do is we can tie the thread at the tip of a plant which is growing, okay, and then we can connect it with the oxynometer, and as the plant growth will be seen, there will be changes in the scale or the readings of oxynometer. So more is the growth, more will be the changes in the degree of measurement. Okay, now next we will study about conditions for growth. What are the conditions required for growth of organism? Like plants need certain conditions to grow. Presence of sunlight is one of the conditions. Without sunlight, plants cannot make their food. There will be no photosynthesis. And if there is no photosynthesis, glucose will not be formed. And if glucose is not produced, that glucose which is utilized for respiration to produce energy will not be there. No energy means without energy or without respiration, plants cannot carry out all the metabolic activities. So that will result in the loss of growth in plants. Apart from that, plants also need water. You know that water is needed for the germination of seeds. Water is required for the growth of plants, because water helps to carry out most of the metabolic reactions in the liquid medium or in the water. It is also needed for transportation of substances from one part of the plant to other. Okay. Apart from that, water has one more function, you can say, that is it provides turgidity. We can say turgidity means hardness. Like once water is filled inside the seed is swollen, it is turgid. But once the water is lost from it, it becomes constrict. Understood? So due to loss of water, turgidity is lost. So water is required to maintain the turgidity of plants. That will help them in the pushing of roots inside the hard rocks or even in the soil, so that they can penetrate. Every plant has optimum temperature range for growth, you know that. Like if you provide very high temperature, at a very high temperature, growth will not take place, germination will not be there. Even at very low temperature, like in polar regions, most of the plants cannot survive. But a suitable temperature is good for all the plants to grow. That's why different types of plants are found growing in different types of habitat according to their temperature requirement. Okay, now next we'll study about. Okay, in the next topic we are going to study about differentiation, dedifferentiation and redifferentiation. So one by one, all these topics should be clear. What is the meaning of differentiation? The cells which are obtained from root and apical and shoot apical meristems, means you know the tip of the root as well as the tip of the shoot contains meristematic tissue. These cells can always divide and they produce different types of cell which mature to perform specific or particular functions. So this act of the cells leading to maturation is called differentiation. So if it is asked define differentiation, the process by which cells mature to perform specific functions is called differentiation. During differentiations, cells undergo many changes both in their cell walls and protoplasm. For example, you can say the cells that form tracheary element, which is found in trachea. Tracheary element means which is a part of that xylem vessels. The cells would lose their protoplasm and they will develop a very strong elastic lignocellulosic secondary cell walls to carry the water to long distances, because we know that xylem function is to transport water molecules from one part of the plant to the other. They are the conducting tissue. Now plants show another interesting phenomena. First one was differentiation. The next one is de-differentiation. The meaning of differentiation is the living differentiated cells that by now have lost the capacity to divide. The cells are living but they have lost the power of division, will once again start or they will regain the capacity to divide under certain conditions. Those living cells will once again regain the capacity to divide. This process is called de-differentiation. Okay? And now one more is there. What is redifferentiated? Differentiation, de-differentiation and redifferentiation. So third term is redifferentiation. Redifferentiation means such meristematic tissues or meristems which are able to divide and produce cells that once again lose the capacity to divide but mature to perform a specific function, that is called redifferentiated. So try to understand the difference between all the three terms: differentiation, de-differentiation and redifferentiation. It may be asked in the exam to differentiate between all these three terms. Okay? Okay, the next term which we have to study is what is development. Development is a term, just growth and development, two terms are there, plant growth and development. Growth means simply physical increase in the size or shape of an organism or the body parts, but development means when the organism goes certain changes, like during its life cycle, from germination of seed to senescence, means once the seed will germinate, from that time till the death of the plant, whatever changes occurs in the life of a plant, that is termed as development. Like example, we can say development includes the formation of different types of plant organs, the development of different types of tissue systems in the plant, development of xylem and phloem, development of flowers, development of fruits. Okay, so one example is there. There are changes in the shape of leaves, and those leaves carry out different types of functions according to the environment or according to the conditions in which they survive. Changes in the leaves is found. Now next is plant growth regulators. Next topic. This plant growth regulators means we know that plant grow. Okay, but what are those substances which can affect the growth of plants? They are called as hormones. Like we human beings also, we know in case of animals, our growth is influenced by the growth hormones which are produced from pituitary gland. Similarly, the plants also produce certain hormones which are called as plant hormones that affect the growth of plants. So some of these hormones are known as, these hormones are only called as plant growth regulators. Okay, now the plant growth regulators I was talking, what are the characteristics? If you have to define, plant growth regulators are small simple molecules of diverse chemical composition, means they are made up of different substances, and they can be of different types, like 3-indole acetic acid. In short, it is called as capital IAA, indole acetic acid. Okay. Then next one is the 89 derivatives, that is N6 furo, furyl, aminopurine, and derivatives of carotenoids like abscisic acid, that is called as ABA. All they are the plant hormones: indole acetic acid, abscisic acid, then terpenes like gibberellic acid, alright, and gases like ethylene. All these are the different plant growth regulators. Only one is gaseous in form, the ethylene, that is C2H4. Its chemical formula of ethylene is C2H4. It is the only gaseous plant growth regulator or hormone. Rest all are not in gaseous form. So plant growth regulators are described as the growth substances or plant hormones, or the other term which is used for them is phytohormones, and they are broadly divided into two groups. One which help in the growth of the plant, they are called as growth promoting hormones. The other one which stops or inhibit the growth of plants, they are called growth inhibitors. So one group of PGR is involved in growth promoting activities, like those activities which will help to increase the growth of plants. Example, you can say the cell division, cell enlargement, pattern formation, trophic growth. All these are due to the growth hormones. And the second one, that is growth inhibitors, are the one which will try to stop the growth in plants, and it can be in the form of shedding of leaves, in which the leaves will fall, or there can be delayed senescence of different parts, that is death of the different parts of the plant. So the gaseous plant hormone PGR, that is plant growth regulator, ethylene, this one is the gaseous form. It is largely an inhibitor. Inhibitor means the one which stops the growth of plant. Now next we have to study about the discovery of plant growth regulators, name of the scientist who discovered them, and their functions. Like auxins, who discovered it, where it was discovered, and what are the functions of auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, ethylene, abscisic acid. So all these 5 hormones, we have to learn the name of the scientist who discovered them, from which part of the plant it is obtained, what are their major functions, and what are the effect of deficiency of these hormones in the plant. So first one we can say is the discovery of plant growth regulators. It was done by different scientists. Like if I say the auxins, it was first of all isolated by F.W. Wendt, name of the scientist, from the tips of coleoptile of oat seedlings, and the bacane, which is called fullis in seedling disease of rice seedlings, was caused by a fungal pathogen called Gibberella fujicori, and the scientist E. Kurosawa reported the appearance of symptoms of the disease in the rice seedlings when they were treated with sterile filtrates of the fungus. So later on, one more scientist, F. Skoob, and his friends, they observed the growth in internodal segments of the vacuostems, and they found that it was the auxins hormone which was responsible for increase in the growth of stems. During the mid-1960s, 3 independent researchers, they reported the purification and chemical characterization of 3 kinds of inhibitors: inhibitor B, abscissin 2, and dormin. 3 names of the hormones which they had obtained. So next class we will study about the name of the hormones, that is auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, and their functions in detail. Thank you.